Hey guys, in this video, we're going to set up a newer PlayStation 1 emulator called Duckstation. This one was recommended to me in my comments of my last video, where I went through and set up EPSXE, an older PS1 emulator, and I was told it was a lot easier and more compatible, so we're going to check it out today. Hopefully, if the other one was giving you issues, that this one might work a bit better for you. Let's get into it. Okay, so what we're going to do first is Google Duckstation. Now, it doesn't have an official website, it's just a GitHub release, so we're going to walk through this just because this site can be a little bit, I guess, awkward to navigate. You'll know you're on the right one if you get to the GitHub by Stenzek. He's the author of this program. Shout out to him. I'm going to put a link to this one below, so go ahead and use that to skip right to it. We're going to go to releases here at the right. I'm going to skip the preview build because this is the beta and it might have some bugs in it. I'd rather we pick the stable version for you guys. We're going to choose latest development build. Scroll down, we're going to choose the installer for your operating system. Most of you are probably on Windows 7 or Windows 10. So we're going to choose Duckstation Windows x64, release. Save the installer to a folder on your computer of your choice. Desktop could work for you. So after you've downloaded the zip file, go ahead and extract the folder that's inside. This will work as the install folder. So if you want to install it on a specific place on your computer, you're going to have to do it manually. Open up the folder and inside you're going to see Duckstation QT. The Duckstation no GUI will not give you any menus and it might be a little trickier to use. We're going to stick with the QT version because it'll be a lot easier to walk through. Since this is an unofficial GitHub release, it's not actually licensed by Microsoft, so you're going to get this kind of sketchy looking warning. But it is okay as long as you use the link that I provided you. Click more info and run anyways. And that's our emulator. If you want to make a shortcut to your desktop, right click it. Oh, this is Windows 11, by the way, I forgot. Okay, well, right click it. Send to desktop. Okay. You might want to rename it because it's got an awkward. So with the emulator installed, we're going to go ahead and find the BIOS file. There is going to be one of 3 different BIOS files that you're going to want to download. North American, which might include South American, European, or Japanese. And to find those, you're going to have to look on Google yourself. I'm going to give you some hints, but I can't give you a link because those files are illegal to distribute. Be a pretty quick way for me to get my stream canceled. So what we're going to either look up is SCPH 1001, SCPH 7502, and for Japanese, SCPH 7503. Go to Google and search for the BIOS of your choice, .bin, and Reddit. This way, you're going to get actual discussions of other people discussing these files, and they might have some links for you. I find it's a little bit more trustworthy than just hitting the top results on Google, because who knows? I wish I could give you guys more, but the BIOS is actually licensed software, so unfortunately, I can't give that to you. Anyways, after you have those files, open up Duckstation, go to Settings, go to BIOS Settings, click Open in Explorer. This will open up the default directory that Duckstation looks for these files, so you can actually just copy those downloaded files into here, like I have here, or you could browse a custom directory here, whichever is best for you guys. For controller settings, so go down to controller settings. We are going to choose from the controller type, DualShock, because this one has the analog. And by default, it's picking up my keyboard. So what we're going to have to do is load up the controller profile. You can click load profile at the bottom. It actually has defaults for DualShock 4. If you have a PS4 controller or Xbox controller, which I think is the same anyways. Maybe something's a little bit different here. But if you want to manually do it, let's say you don't have either one of those controllers. All you do is you go through these buttons here, you click up and press the up button on your controller. Down, for example, I click it on the screen and press down, left, right, and it looks like it's matching up perfectly to what it was before. For the analog sticks, you have your left analog stick and your right analog stick. So for left X, that is horizontal. You click it and you move your left stick either left or right. And for Y, That's vertical. You click it and press it up or down. Do the same thing for the right stick. X is horizontal, Y is vertical. So for display settings, the first thing you're going to want to look at is renderer. This will be where a majority of the, I guess, crashes or errors will happen. I'm going to leave mine on the default Direct 3D because I'm running like a normal NVIDIA graphics card. If you're running on Linux or something, you might want to try Vulkan. If you have Direct 3D available, just use that. Otherwise, you might want to try OpenGL or Vulkan. For adapter, default should be your graphics card, but I would just choose it from the list anyways, just to be sure. For full screen mode, this is where you're going to choose your resolution, and the menu's a little bit crazy. I'm going to scroll all the way down because that's 1080p, which is the native for my computer. My monitor is 144 hertz, so I'm going to choose this one, but you're welcome to use 60 hertz or 50 hertz, I guess. Actually, I'm not sure if your uses 50 hertz or not, but anyways, check your refresh rate on your computer and match it with that. Next thing to check here will be aspect ratio. I prefer the game native, and old PS1 games were boxed, like they're 4:3. It's not going to stretch the full width of a widescreen monitor. So if you do want it to stretch, choose 16:9 from the list and it will force it, and then choose stretch to fill. That's only if that's what you want. I don't like that. I like the game to be the way it was. I don't really like the wide faces, so I'm not going to stretch to fill, and I'm going to leave it on game native. If you want to see your FPS, you can choose display FPS, show the game frame rate, show resolution on screen. These are just little bits of data that they'll put on your screen if you like that. And if you're messing with some settings, you might want to show the FPS just to see what your computer can handle. Enhancement settings is next. Internal resolution. This is going to be like the #1 thing to make your games look better. Click the list and then you'll see, based on the resolution of your screen, which one will be best for you. 5 times is good for 1080p, so I'm going to use that. If you have a 4K monitor, you might want to try 9 times, but that's probably really hard to run on your computer, so just keep that in mind. If you're noticing that your game is stuttering, definitely drop it down even to 720 or whatever. This will be your biggest performance boost by dropping this number, but I'm going to leave it on 5 times because I know my computer can handle it. Widescreen hack would be optional for you. So instead of stretching to fill a 16:9, you can use widescreen hack to actually change the game to be in a widescreen mode, but I don't like that. So I'm more of a purist. I'm going to leave it off, and I don't want to guide you guys into any glitchy settings. So leave it off for now, just to make sure we get up and running. We don't need to mess with any of these settings. Let's just leave it. All this stuff can be okay. If there is anything you're interested in, if you hover over it, Duckstation actually gives us at the bottom a nice little description of what it's going to do. For example, chroma smoothing smooths out blockiness between color transitions, usually for FMVs. Recommended value is unchecked, so we're going to leave it as that. Some of these options here, like geometry correction, will do cool things because like PS1 graphics kind of looked like glitchy when the objects interact with each other and stuff like that. This actually fixes it, but this actually might be glitchy on some games. So I'm not going to recommend it to start, but if you want to get in there and tweak some of the graphics to look a little nicer, go ahead and turn that on. It might actually be okay. And post-processing, we're not going to get into, but what you can do is add things like bloom and brightness and sharpen. So this is just more like generic video settings to make the colors pop. We're not going to mess with that right now, guys. Let's just skip it for now. And achievement settings. So achievements, maybe I'll make a video about this. There is a website called Retro Achievements, which supports Duckstation. Rather, I guess Duckstation supports them. I'll make a video on that. Because it's one of the most fun parts about emulation that actually even trumps the emulation that Nintendo's doing on their online service. So that is here if you want it. Hotkey settings. If you want to do things like fast forward or pause the game or save screenshots, they got some defaults here and you can change them in this menu here. I like using fast forward and toggle full screen. One of my favorites is actually the audio, where I can use volume up, volume down on my keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and click it and do volume up is going to be my plus button. I guess it comes up as equal. Volume down will be negative. Mute for me, I like as F9. Save state hotkeys. So this will be up to you guys. The default's F1 to F4 for load next slot, save next slot, and then save to that slot. And last, we're going to load our library. So click game list settings. Search directories. We're going to add a folder. I have a folder with all my PlayStation 1 games called PlayStation. So I'm going to choose that folder, select folder. Would you like to scan the directory recursively? What recursively means is scan the subfolders in there. So if your games are in different folders in there or you got different groups, definitely click yes just to make sure, and then scan for new games and close. After you do that, you're going to see your list of all your games here. Make sure it works. Boom, just like that. So we're in business, guys. I didn't even check the hotkey for my fast forward, so I'm going to go back there. Hotkey settings. Fast forward is tab. Cool. You can fast forward through loading, which is amazing. Hey guys, pardon the jump cut, but my previous upload got taken down by WWE as a copyright strike for me playing SmackDown. But yeah, anyways, as you can see that the emulator works, we should be good to go from here. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope WWE and Vince McMahon really get the most value out of my ad revenue. I really want to thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped. If there's any issues, let me know. If there's anything I missed, definitely let me know. It'll help me for my next upload. And if you guys have any other emulators or any other guides that you would like requested, I could definitely do that. I'm always looking for YouTube ideas. Probably the hardest part of this whole thing for me. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you and have a good one.